Hello and welcome to More Than a Business Live. I am your host, Mitch Case. I am also the owner and CEO of More Than a Meal here in the Kansas City area, where we help organizations strengthen their most valued relationships, one meal at a time. This live show has actually been a dream of mine for a little over a year now. My team has been hard at work over the last couple of months to put everything together, from the graphics, from the individuals, the videos, making me look better than I actually am most of the time. But I could not go forward with this without thanking my team and the hard work that they put to place, making this possible. And with our first guest, I've had the opportunity to talk with her briefly before coming on this show. And after having just a 15-minute phone conversation, I knew that I wanted her on our show first, just with the impact that she has already had, but just the work that she does in the professional world and outside the professional world. With this live show, the purpose is to highlight those small business owners, those HR professionals that have been hard at work, making a place to go to work safe, comfortable, inclusive, with the different initiatives, the success stories, maybe some of the challenges that they've faced, so that we can actually highlight those individuals, because they deserve a place to let this world know the work that they are doing is good work, and what truly makes them and the organization that they started or go to work at truly more than a business. So I could not be more excited to welcome our very first guest, Dana Hetrick. She is the president at Lucas Commercial Flooring Group. She is also the president-elect at the National Association of Women Business Owners here in the Kansas City area. She was a participant for the Women of Impact nominee with the American Heart Association this year, and was named a 2023 Enterprising Woman through the Enterprising Woman magazine. Please help me welcome Dana Hetrick to the very first episode of More Than a Business Live. Hey, Dana, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mitch, and congratulations on your first show. This is really exciting.
We have made it work. I know we had to reschedule once before to get this going due to our timeline not being correct, but I could not be more and more excited to introduce everybody to you on our show here. So I'm going to kick us right off. We want to hear a story. I have always found that stories are the best way to kick things off. And why don't you tell us maybe a specific story or an example that really demonstrates the impact that Lucas Commercial Flooring, or even you, that have had an impact on an individual or the local community here in Kansas City?
Well, one of my favorite stories is actually how I ended up having employees. So prior to 2019, we subcontracted all of our installation out to another company. They were a great company. They did a great job for our installation, but they decided to close their business in 2019. So we had a hard decision, like, what are we going to do? Do we keep trying to find contractors, or do we, make the investment to hire employees and bring them in? And so we hired our first crew in July of 2019. And that really impacted our company, but I also think it impacted our installers' lives. It gave us the ability to control the final quality for our customer, but also it helped us to control our quality and service, which is what we're all about. For our installers, who are now our employees, I think it changed their lives because they were able to join a company they have a voice in. And it's really funny because when I made that call to that first crew saying, hey, do you want to come work for me? They said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you called me, because we were going to call you and present the idea to you to do this. So
it was meant to happen.
Yeah. So it was kind of that joint decision almost with them and us to bring them on board and, create a bigger impact on our customers.
So not only just providing another place of work for these individuals, maybe tell us a little bit of maybe some of the challenges going from completely contracting that out to bringing them in-house. What were some of the challenges that you may be faced with that?
Well, I kind of laugh that I was just making things up. Like, it was now, okay, what do we provide? How much vacation time do people get? What holidays do we pay? What, just all those little things you don't really think about until you have an employee and you're like, oh no, now I have all these decisions to make. And so that was probably the biggest challenge. And I approached it from, well, what would I expect if I were the one being offered, these benefits? And what would I expect with how much decision-making capability I have in the company as an employee, and, just all of those little decisions. So I really approached it from how I would want to be treated. And I didn't realize that we were doing anything different until I heard why the employees like working here. So last year we actually were a finalist for the Kansas City Business Journal Best Places to Work. And part of the part of the process is they send out a survey to all of the employees, and they get to do some just comments and feedback. And I got to read some of those comments and feedback, and I was like,
I bet
wow.
That's humbling.
Yeah, right. And it was like, wow, I didn't realize that we did. I thought everybody did this. I thought everybody did it this way. So it was interesting to hear that the decisions we were making were different in a good way, and that everyone liked the direction we were headed. So we
Wow. I love the authenticity of, I didn't necessarily know what I was doing. I just thought I was doing the right thing. And that's what I noticed first when we had our first phone call. And it was just, it's natural for you. And that's only going to ripple through your organization. And congrats on being nominated as a best place to work. I know that's not easy. I know there is effort that needs to be put towards to make that happen. And as exciting it probably was to get feedback, I'm sure there were some nerves on, all right, am I going to learn something new about my business that I had no idea about before? But ultimately, that's going to make your organization stronger. So as we kind of transition now, I want to, this is the part where I kind of tell you to brag about Lucas Commercial Flooring. Tell us, what sets your company apart? What truly makes it more than just a business? And feel free to highlight the core values or missions or unique approaches that you guys take to make this such a desired place to be.
Sure. So our biggest, we just have two keywords, and just in everything that we do. So quality and service. And I mean, that sounds like such easy, basic things to do, but part of that is learning expectations. So we provide flooring. Well, what are your expectations on your new flooring, and how long do you want it to last? What's the best value we can bring where you're going to leave happy, you're going to leave satisfied. And it also not only reflects from us to our customers, but us to our employees, how we treat each other. So we just try to have that as every part of our company, every layer of our company reflects quality and service. And so, providing for customers, that looks like communicating with them before, during, and after the installation. Just really making sure we do the right thing. If there's a problem, how can we solve it correctly and not just cover it up for the next person to deal with? So again, just doing the right thing and reflecting that in every layer of the company and every employee of the company. We want to make sure fits that same thing. So they know if they make a decision on site and they're doing the right thing, that we're going to stand behind them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but I spent close to 10 years in the construction industry, and I know how challenging quality and service can be. I think there is always that triangle. You can get time, you can get money, or you can get quality, and you can pick two of those three. And that was always the hardest part, because there are so many layers when it comes to business in general, but specifically with construction, from business development to proposal to implementation. If you're not able to ask those questions beforehand, it always surprised me how much in my mind what we were doing versus what actually happened on the end. And it always came back to, we didn't ask enough questions to understand what somebody was truly wanting. And I think that is a piece not only for the client side, but for, like you said, for your employees to be able to be heard and listened to and feel empowered in the place that they go. Do you have any examples of maybe how you've shown, like, going beyond the profit and prioritizing the people themselves, or maybe some social causes that you have been a part of?
Well, we do a lot of things individually. So like with the Heart Association participating in their fundraising, all of our employees actually kind of chipped in on that and helped us come up with ideas and things like that. But everybody kind of does their own thing. So we're actually rolling out a new initiative this year for our employees that I'm really excited about. So I feel, I don't know if this is the right answer to this question, but I feel like it's a good segue.
It's going to be.
So one of the things we're rolling out is paid time off for our employees to volunteer their time. So it doesn't have to be to a specific organization. It can be to one that they're passionate about that aligns with, our values and or their values. And we want to leave it pretty open, but it's going to result in all of our employees having time to be able to donate their services in one way or another. So it should equate to about 336 plus hours a year that will be donated to the community. So I'm really excited for this.
If there are any nonprofit organizations watching this show right now, raise your hand quickly. That's a lot of hours to put out into the community, and wow, what an impact that can have.
And we're looking at options for if the installers want to donate their time to install flooring, or if they want to just go serve at a food bank, or just anything that they're passionate about to be able to help the community. So absolutely any nonprofit ideas.
I will let you know if we have any of that. Please comment now if you are looking for some help and some volunteers. That's truly amazing. Out of curiosity, like what sparked that as the way you wanted to go to add that employee benefit?
Well, one of the things that I thought about is I have some flexibility. So, a lot of the nonprofit service hours are during the week. They're Monday through Friday. They need it during the weekday, not on the weekend. So asking them to participate in this on their own time takes away from their family. And we're very family oriented. We want everyone to be able to spend time with their loved ones, take care of their responsibilities, go to, this weekend I have a soccer tournament we need to go to. Everybody's got stuff that we want them to be able to participate in life. And so I didn't want to take time away from their personal time and ask them to provide service, So this is a great way for us to allow them to keep those work-life boundaries is what I like. I've heard that phrase and I love that phrase. So, asking them to give back to the community and not take away from their family time. So that's kind of what spurred this thought process. And we're still ironing out some of the details of what how that looks, but we're hoping we get everyone to participate.
Hey, it is more important to get started than for it to be perfect, which is a great example of this show as we get rolling here. I love that you have that recognition. I know this was just like it wasn't something you had to think about. It's just intuitive for you, but we always sit there and think about like how we can help our team members, and ultimately I think it just comes back down to like they want to be around the people that they value most, which most often is going to be family and friends. So offering something or helping them where you think you're doing something good, which is actually taking them away from that, is doing the inverse of that. So kudos to you guys. I'd love to hear how everything goes, and I'll be sure to keep an eye out for maybe some nonprofits that I'm a fan of here in the Kansas City area that might be able to use some of those volunteer hours that your staff is going to be available for. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Now, this is going to be all about you in the sense of let's talk about how you're personally motivated or inspired for the work that you do. And putting it bluntly in a way is you're dealing with commercial flooring day in and day out. That's not necessarily always the thing that gets people motivated when they wake up in the morning. But I know the work that you do is good work. So maybe talk about how you are motivated and inspired day to day coming in and serving your organization and the team members that you have.
Well, I am a flooring dork. So I love flooring. Like
Yes.
I really think that flooring plays a big role in people's lives. And I don't think about it like, oh, it's flooring. What's one flooring versus another?
Hmm.
But it can make you feel more comfortable in a hospital if you have the right flooring. It can make your work day go by a little quicker if you are standing on the floor all day, and if it's nice and cushioned and gives your feet the support that it needs and your back the support it needs, it makes a difference in your life. So I am a dork, and I am motivated by getting people the right flooring in
I
their
stand
space.
corrected.
I know it's such a dorky thing, but it really is. I really do think it makes a difference in people's daily lives. But I don't also get to pick out flooring every single day. So we wear a
Right.
lot of hats around here. So there are days where I'm in the office and I'm putting together prices, and I'm answering phones, and doing daily paperwork or accounting paperwork, or the fun things of owning a business, paying sales tax. So
Oh,
on those days, I do have to sometimes look for my motivation, and part of that is seeing satisfied employees in the workplace and hearing their stories, and part of it is thinking about my family, and knowing that this company supports my family, and what I'm doing lets my son play soccer, or lets
yes.
us go on a fishing trip next weekend, or just those little motivations in life that keep you going.
That's such a great example, because I often get asked, like, why are you doing what you were doing? And, I have been fortunate that, More Than a Meal allows me to play a small role in somebody's life when they're going through good and bad times. But I'm also an advocate that just because you don't need to be at a location that is like saving lives to find your motivation. If the place of work that you're going to allows you the time that you need to go and be present in the places that you want to be, then that can be a motivator in and of itself. So I love that that's the space where you're at, is that you are a floor nerd at heart, and that is fantastic. But that also allows you to be there for those soccer games. And I think a lot of people in this world would say that they want the flexibility to be able to show up for their kids in those years that go by so fast. So um, I'm going to kind of segue into the portion of our show where as a business owner yourself and a heart for the people that you get to serve, we at More Than a Meal want to help you bless somebody with a meal. So we are going to allow you to send a meal from us on your behalf to an individual, whether that is a team member or a client or a prospect that you care about. We want you to be able to bless them with that meal. So do you have anybody in mind that you think you would like to send that meal to?
Well, so this popped in my head. I got a phone call this morning that one of our customers is dealing with a small flood at their house. So they've got a lot going on. So I think they would be the perfect person to send a meal to. So his name is
Well,
Alan. He's one of our contractors, and I think he would be a great person to send a meal to. That's just something he won't have to think about. What's for dinner while I'm trying to get all this water out of my basement.
I have made the walk to the basement, and that's first step when the sock gets soaked and you just say, oh no. Well, Alan, we look forward to being able to send this meal to you on behalf of Dana and Lucas Commercial Flooring. With that, we'll go ahead and dive into a few last minute questions here, and then we'll wrap up, Dana. But kind of one of the ones that I want to always ask, because I think we can learn more from our failures versus our wins. So maybe tell us something in business ownership from your perspective when it comes to your team members, your employees, and maintaining them and retaining them. What's an area that you've maybe failed at that you wish you had known, but maybe you can give some insight to others before we trip on that same stone?
Well, there are a lot of challenges out there, right? And I think sometimes the hardest lessons learned are the ones you never forget, right? Um, so definitely, listening to the employees, really listening to anything they want to talk about. Um, One of the biggest challenges I think we've had in the past was, going back to that, we just kind of did what we did and hoped we were doing it right and never really thought about defining those values and goals. So we really just kind of were doing it, right? So in like 2021 is when we decided, okay, what are our goals and what are our values? Um, and once we defined those, we realized one of our biggest challenges was getting employees in that weren't a right fit. And I think it's because we didn't have those defined. We were hiring to fill the position.
Yep.
And not necessarily looking to see if they aligned with our goals or our values. And so once we really defined those, it was like, oh, that makes sense of why that person didn't work in that position, because they just had different goals. It wasn't that they were, bad at the job. They had different values than what we did. And that's okay. They found a good fit somewhere else. But once we defined that, it really helped us to narrow in when we're hiring, looking for that alignment and really focusing on not just do they fit the position, but do they fit our company as well. And I think that's made a huge difference in getting over those hurdles of fitting the wrong person in the wrong spot.
I feel like every business owner goes through that at some point, just because you're so ready to bring that person on that you're ready to make it happen. And all of a sudden you wish you had.
Right.
There's a book, Patrick Lencioni, I think it's Ideal Team Player, The Hungry, Humble, and Smart, which talks about basically those are the qualities that you want in a human being to be on the bus. You can teach somebody a skill, obviously, if they're educated in that, but you can teach a skill, but you can't teach those soft skills. So I definitely resonate with that one. Well, Dana, we have reached the end of our first episode. I cannot thank you enough for coming on here and being a part of this first episode. Before we take off, I do want to make sure that people know how to reach you if they are interested in what it might be like to be on that bus, on the right bus within Lucas Commercial Flooring. But also, if you are in the business area of looking for some flooring and want to work with an organization that is doing business right, and a special floor nerd, from Dana's perspective, this would be an amazing organization to work with. So Dana, how can they reach you?
So lucasflooringkc.com is our website. We've got all of our contact information on there. We do have a physical location. We kind of joke we're right between Gates Barbecue and Dixon's Chili over by the stadium. So I think everyone knows those food stops. So if you want to come
that's a tough spot. Which one do you go left or you go right?
Right. And there's also a great taco place down the street that is nobody really knows about. So you've got a lot of good options. Come and try the food and stop and look at some flooring.
There we go. Well, Dana, thank you so much. And just a reminder for everybody that has tuned in today, More Than a Business Live is going to be coming at you every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Time, where we are bringing in business owners, HR professionals, and highlighting those individuals and the amazing work that they have done to create a safe and inclusive place for them to come to work, retain, and attract that talent. Next week, we just solidified this. Ryan with Jay Rieger and Co. is going to be on the show, so we're really excited to have him jump in. If there is any interest from other individuals out there that are watching this, whether you are a small business owner or in the HR profession, reach out to me personally. I'd be happy to see if this is a good fit for the show as we continue to grow our audience here. But with that, Dana, we are done. We made it through the first episode. So thank you so much for everybody that's come on. Thank you for the kind comments there from Dan and Raymond and Dr. Katie Irving coming on here. Thank you so much, guys. We will be back next week at 3 p.m. on Thursday. And if you need some flooring or if you're looking for an awesome place to be, that does flooring, reach out to Dana. You can connect with me. I'd be happy to get you connected with Dana as well. So with that, we are done. Appreciate the time, and everybody have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Take care.